That $2 box of baking soda at the back of your cupboard will do 17 jobs properly around your house, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through every one of them, plus the enormously popular baking soda combination that half the internet swears by, and that actually cancels itself out into salt water, which I suspect a lot of you have been using for years. Let me tell you why this one box earns its place, because once you understand it, you will stop following recipes and start making your own decisions. Baking soda does three separate things, and almost every use in this video is one of the three. First, it is a mild abrasive. The grains are hard enough to grind dirt off a surface, but softer than glass, ceramic, porcelain, and stainless steel, which means it physically cannot scratch those surfaces no matter how long you scrub. That combination, hard against the dirt and soft against the surface, is exactly what every expensive cream cleanser on the shelf is built on. Second, it is an alkali, which means it neutralizes acids, and a very large share of the smells in your home are acidic. That is why it does not perfume an odor, it destroys it. And third, it is a deodorizer and a mild brightener in laundry. Three properties, one box, about $2, and no advertising budget behind it anywhere. My name is Kenji Sato, most people call me Ken, and I have 25 years in this trade, 10 of them running housekeeping at a luxury hotel where I bought cleaning products by the pallet. Nothing on this channel is sponsored and I have nothing to sell you. Also, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed to the channel. If you enjoy professional cleaning hacks, tips, and tricks, consider subscribing. It is free and you can always change your mind. Number one is your kitchen sink, and this is the one that makes people message me. If you have ever walked into somebody's house and seen a stainless steel sink that looks like it was installed yesterday and wondered what they use, this is the answer and it costs about 4 cents. Sprinkle baking soda across the whole dry sink. Take a damp sponge or a dish wand with a little dish soap on it and scrub from the top rim downward, working around the whole basin, then get right down into the drain area and around the seal. The baking soda grinds off the fine film that dulls stainless steel, the film you cannot really see but which is the reason your sink looks tired. Rinse with warm water, and then, and this is the step that changes everything, buff the whole thing dry with a clean microfiber cloth. Never let a sink air dry because the water evaporates and leaves every mineral it was carrying behind the spots. 90 seconds of work in a sink that looks new, and there is a professional reason to make the sink the thing you always finish. A clean sink does for a kitchen what a made bed does for a bedroom. The eye reads the whole room off that one surface, which is why a kitchen with dishes on the counter and a gleaming empty sink still reads as under control, and a kitchen with clear counters and a stained sink does not. Number two is the recipe I would keep if I could only keep one, and it replaces every cream cleanser and powder cleanser you have ever bought. Mix equal parts dish soap and baking soda in a small bowl, add a few drops of water, and stir until it is about the consistency of pudding. That is it. If you want, add 10 drops of an essential oil. And tea tree is my choice for bathrooms because it brings a genuine mold and mildew resistance with it, though lavender, eucalyptus, or peppermint work if you prefer the smell. Mix only as much as you need for today because this is not meant to be stored. Apply it with a damp sponge, let it sit a few minutes to do the work, then scrub, rinse, and buff dry. The soap cuts grease, the baking soda provides the abrasion, and between them they handle soap scum, tub rings, shower tile, sinks, and the greasy film around a stove. That is a $5 bottle of cream cleanser replaced for pennies. One technique note that matters more than the recipe. Apply it with the sponge in an S pattern, starting at the far corner and zigzagging back toward yourself, rather than in circles. Circles carry the dirt your sponge just picked up straight back over the part you already cleaned, which is why people get streaks and end up going over everything 3 times. Straight overlapping strokes mean every pass lands on fresh dirt and every finished section stays behind you. Number 3 is the inside of your oven, and this is where I need to unteach something. Most people attack an oven with the harshest chemical they own and half a bottle of it. Do the opposite. Sprinkle a light dusting of baking soda across the greasy areas, not a snowdrift, just a dusting. Then add a few drops of dish soap to barely moisten it, and scrub with the dry side of a sponge in small circles. A dry sponge with a barely damp paste gives you real abrasion against the baked-on carbon, where a soaking wet sponge glides over the top of it in a puddle. Feel that difference once and you will never go back. Then one pass with a damp cloth to rinse. If a patch is truly welded on, paste it thickly, walk away for 20 minutes, and come back, because chemistry works on a clock, not on your elbow. An entire oven interior, 5 minutes, 2 ingredients you could eat, and no fumes. 2 places to be careful. Keep the paste off the heating elements and off the fan opening at the back, and avoid the printed markings around any dials, because a mild abrasive will slowly take printing off. And check your manual before you do anything at all if you own a self-cleaning oven, because those have specific instructions from the manufacturer and following them protects your warranty. Number 4 is a pot or pan with burnt food fused to the bottom, and you should never take a scouring pad to one of those again. Put an inch of water in the pan, add 2 or 3 tablespoons of baking soda, bring it to a simmer for a few minutes, then take it off the heat and leave it on the counter, ideally overnight. The alkaline solution works its way underneath the edge of the burnt layer and breaks its grip on the metal, and by morning the black crust lifts off in sheets with a wooden spoon rather than coming away in flakes over half an hour. The same soak works on a slow cooker insert, a casserole dish, and a roasting pan, which are all the same problem in a different shape. One caution: Do not do this in aluminum because long contact with a strong alkaline solution discolors and dulls it. And do not use baking soda on non-stick coatings because abrasive powder in non-stick is a marriage the coating always loses. Number 5 is baking sheets and oven trays, the ones that have gone brown and permanently sticky. That brown layer is polymerized oil. Cooking oil heated so many times it has turned into something closer to a varnish, and dish soap cannot touch it. Make a thick paste of baking soda with a little hydrogen peroxide, or water if that is what you have. Spread it right across the surface, and leave it several hours or overnight. Then scrub with the rough side of a sponge and it lifts away in patches. On a tray that has been building that layer for 5 years, it may take 2 rounds, and I would rather tell you that than have you think you did it wrong. It will not look like the day you bought it. It will look better than it has in a decade. And the prevention nobody enjoys hearing is a sheet of parchment or foil on the tray from now on, because that layer only forms where hot oil meets bare metal over and over again. Number 6 is grout, and it is the most satisfying job on this list. Grout is porous, so it drinks in every spill, which is why the lines go gray and dark while the tiles either side stay clean. Mix 2 parts baking soda to 1 part hydrogen peroxide into a thick paste, spread it along the grout lines with an old toothbrush, and then walk away for 10 or 15 minutes. That waiting is doing the work. Come back, scrub along the lines, and watch the grout come back several shades lighter. Then rinse very well, twice, because baking soda dries into a fine gritty film that crunches underfoot and dulls the tile if you leave it. A grout pen or a specialist grout cleaner costs $7 or $8. This costs pennies, and it is the same job. Once it is clean, the thing that keeps it clean is sealing the grout, which is a small bottle and an hour of your time every couple of years, and stops the grout drinking in the next 2 years of spills. Number 7 is washing produce, and I will give you the honest version rather than the exciting one. Sprinkle a little baking soda onto your fruit or vegetables, splash on a bit of water, and rub them gently between your palms before rinsing. For berries or grapes, put a tablespoon of baking soda in a bowl of water instead. Swirl the fruit through it, let it sit a few minutes, then strain and rinse. 2 things this genuinely does. It removes surface dirt and residue that plain water leaves behind, and you will actually feel the difference as a slight squeak against your finger. And it extends the life of berries noticeably, because most berries do not rot from the inside, they rot from surface mold spreading from one to its neighbors in the punnet. What I am not going to promise you is that this removes all pesticides, because that claim goes further than anyone has shown, and some residues sit inside the plant rather than on the skin. Rinse thoroughly and dry them properly afterwards, because water left sitting on produce speeds up spoiling and undoes the extra days you just bought yourself. Number 8 is the refrigerator, and here's where the humble open box earns its reputation. Take a jar, fill it about halfway with baking soda, and cover the top with something breathable, a piece of cloth held with a rubber band or a lid with holes punched in it. Set it toward the back of a shelf and forget it. Baking soda is the opposite of a perfume. It absorbs and neutralizes the acidic odor molecules food gives off, which is why a fridge with a jar of it in the corner smells of nothing at all, and nothing at all is exactly what a fridge should smell like. Swap it every 2 or 3 months, and when you do, pour the old soda down your kitchen drain with hot water so it does one last job on the way out. And a word on the box on the shelf versus a jar. The open box works, but a wide jar exposes far more surface area to the air inside the fridge, and surface area is the whole mechanism here, so the jar genuinely does the job better. Number 9 is that drain, and it is the single most common source of a smell people cannot locate. Food residue builds a film inside the pipe a few inches below your spotless sink. Pour half a cup of baking soda down there, dry and leave it as long as you can, overnight if possible. Then pour a cup of hot vinegar after it. Let it foam a few minutes and flush with the hot tap for 3 or 4 minutes. I want to be straight with you about what this is. It is deodorizing and maintenance, not plumbing repair. If water is standing in your sink, that is a plunger, a drain snake, or a plumber. But run this monthly and the smell never arrives in the first place. The same routine works on a bathroom sink and a shower drain, where the film is soap and hair rather than food, but the method and the result are identical. Number 10 is the bins, kitchen, and bathroom, which get dirty even with a liner because things drip down the sides. Wash the can itself now and then rather than only changing the bag, and then keep a few spoonfuls of dry baking soda in the bottom underneath the liner, where it sits absorbing all week and catches anything that leaks through. For a bin that is already bad, make a thick paste with water, spread it around the inside, leave it an hour, scrub, rinse, and dry completely before the next liner goes in, because a damp bin is where the smell restarts. Number 11 is the dishwasher. If yours greets you with an odor when you open it, there are 3 things to do in order. Pull the filter out of the floor of the machine and rinse it, because most people have never touched theirs and it has been catching food since installation. Wipe the rubber door seal folding back the edges, because that is where the great majority of dishwasher smell actually lives. Then, with the machine empty, tip a cup of baking soda across the bottom and leave it as long as your household allows, up to a day, before running it empty on the hottest cycle. And one free habit afterwards, leave the door slightly ajar between loads so the inside dries instead of sitting damp. Number 12 is your laundry, and this is a use most people have heard of and almost nobody does correctly. Add half a cup of baking soda directly into the drum along with your usual detergent, not into the detergent drawer. It does 2 things. It softens the water slightly, which lets your detergent work better rather than fighting minerals, so colors come out looking brighter and whites less gray, and it neutralizes odors in the load. The reason to put it in the drum rather than the drawer is simple. It needs to dissolve in the wash water, and drawers are designed for liquid. It is worth saying what this is not. Baking soda is not a detergent and it will not clean a load on its own, so this is a booster that makes the detergent you already own work harder, not a replacement for it. If you have hard water, which most of the country does, that softening effect is doing more for you than you would expect. Number 13 is the specific problem of gym clothes and anything that smells clean coming out of the wash and then smells terrible 10 minutes after you put it on. That is bacteria and body oil trapped deep in synthetic fibers, and a normal wash does not reach it. Soak the items in a bucket of warm water with a cup of baking soda for several hours or overnight before washing them normally. Do this instead of adding more detergent and more fabric softener, which is what most people try, and which actually makes it worse because softener coats fibers and traps the very oils causing the smell. Skip softener entirely on athletic clothing permanently, and while you are at it, stop using it on towels and microfiber cloths too, because it coats those fibers and destroys the absorbency you bought them for. Number 14 is carpets and rugs, and it takes 2 minutes. Sprinkle baking soda evenly across the carpet, and if the room has a general staleness rather than one spot, do the whole floor. Leave it at least 15 minutes, and longer is better, a couple of hours if you can. Then vacuum thoroughly, and go over it more than once, because the powder works down into the pile. This is genuinely how you deal with a room that smells of dog, or of a house that has been shut up, and it costs nothing. One note, if you have a vacuum with a delicate filter system, check the manual, because very fine powders and some filters do not agree. And if the room has a specific spot rather than a general staleness, deal with the spot at the source first, because deodorizing powder over a stain that is still there is covering, not cleaning, and it will be back within the week. Number 15 is your mattress, which follows the same logic on a bigger scale. Consider that the average adult gives off somewhere between 1 and 2 cups of sweat every single night, and then think about what is under you. Strip the bed completely, vacuum the mattress surface first, then sprinkle 1 to 2 cups of baking soda across it and leave it for several hours. Vacuum it up thoroughly, 2 or 3 passes. Do this twice a year. Rotate the mattress at the same time while you are at it, and your bed feels genuinely fresher for about $1. If anyone in the house reacts to dust, do the vacuuming step particularly thoroughly, because what you are removing along with the powder is the accumulated dust that settles into any soft surface people sleep on. Number 16 is shoes, and it is the cheapest deodorizing job there is. Tip a couple tablespoons into each shoe, shake it down toward the toe, and leave overnight, then tip it out in the morning. If you would rather not have powder loose in a good pair, put the baking soda in old socks, knot them, and stand one in each shoe. The smell is not the shoe itself, it is bacteria living in the moisture your foot left behind, and baking soda takes both the moisture and the odor. The underlying fix nobody wants to hear is to rotate 2 pairs so each gets a full day to dry. 2 pairs alternated will both last longer and smell better than 1 pair worn every single day, which is one of the rare cases where the frugal answer and the effective answer are the same answer. Number 17 is the one that looks like a magic trick and is actually straightforward chemistry, and it is how you clean tarnished silver. Line a bowl or a baking dish with aluminum foil, shiny side up. Lay your silver on the foil so each piece is physically touching it, which matters. Sprinkle a generous amount of baking soda over everything, then pour in boiling water until the pieces are covered. Within a minute or two, you will see the tarnish start to lift. What is happening is a genuine chemical reaction. Tarnish is silver sulfide, and in that hot alkaline bath, the sulfur transfers off the silver and onto the aluminum, which wants it more. That is why the silver has to touch the foil, and it is why this removes tarnish without removing any silver, which is what polishing paste does every time you use it. Take the pieces out with tongs, rinse, and buff dry. 2 honest limits. Do not do this with silver plate that is thin or worn. Do not do it with anything containing glued parts or soft stones like pearls or opals, and skip antique pieces where the darkened detail in the engraving is deliberate and part of the value, because you will strip that patina, and a collector will notice. Done properly on ordinary solid silver though, this is the method I would use every time over paste, because paste works by abrasion, and abrasion means you are removing a microscopic layer of the silver itself on every single cleaning. Do that for 40 years to a family piece and you have worn away detail that cannot be put back. Now let me pay off what I promised at the start, because this is the most widespread piece of bad cleaning advice on the internet and you have almost certainly followed it. Mixing baking soda and vinegar together in a bowl or a spray bottle to make a cleaner. You know the picture, the dramatic foaming? Here is what is actually happening. Baking soda is a base and vinegar is an acid, and when you combine them, they neutralize each other. The foam is carbon dioxide escaping, and once the fizzing stops, what you are left with is mostly water with a little dissolved sodium acetate in it. You have taken 2 useful cleaning agents and turned them into salt water. So every time you have mixed those into a paste in a bowl and scrubbed with it, the only thing doing any work was the leftover undissolved baking soda grains, and you would have got a better result using the baking soda on its own. Now, one important distinction, because I do not want to overcorrect you. Pouring them separately down a drain is fine and useful, because there the physical foaming action helps push loosened material through the pipe, and you are not relying on either one as a cleaner. The rule is simple. Use them one after another, never mix together in a container. Same rule as hydrogen peroxide and vinegar, which should also never be stored mixed, because that combination forms parasitic acid and is genuinely irritating to skin, eyes, and lungs. And the rule that overrides all of them: never mix bleach with anything except plain water, not vinegar, not ammonia, not another cleaner, because those combinations produce genuinely dangerous fumes and nothing in your house requires them. Careful is part of the craft. And while we are being honest, here is what baking soda cannot do. It is not a disinfectant, it does not kill bacteria or viruses in any meaningful way, so it is not the thing to reach for after raw chicken has been on your counter. For that, you clean with hot soapy water first, and then use something proven and let it stay visibly wet for its contact time. It is also not a degreaser on its own. It gives you abrasion, but it is the dish soap alongside it doing the work on grease, which is why nearly every recipe in this video pairs them. It will not dissolve limescale, that white crusty mineral on your shower head and taps, because scale needs acid, and baking soda is the opposite of acid, so that is a vinegar job, and there are surfaces to keep it away from. No aluminum, no nonstick, and be cautious on soft natural stone like marble, on glossy painted surfaces, and on any high gloss plastic or acrylic, including glossy appliance fronts and some shower surrounds, where even a mild abrasive can leave a fine dulling over time. When in doubt, test in a hidden corner first, and remember that the whole reason baking soda is safe on porcelain and stainless is that those materials are harder than it is. Softer things are not protected by that logic. The test I use when I am unsure about a surface takes 15 seconds. Put a little on a damp cloth, rub a hidden area, then look at that area from a low angle with light raking across it rather than straight down, because dulling and fine scratching only show up in raking light. If the hidden patch looks the same as the rest, carry on. One more honest word, because the source of half the questions I get. You will see people online using baking soda as an underarm deodorant and as a hair clarifying treatment, and both of those are real things people do with real results. But your skin and scalp are mildly acidic by design, and baking soda is strongly alkaline. So used regularly, it can irritate skin and leave hair brittle for some people. If you want to try it, patch test, use it occasionally rather than daily, and stop if you see irritation. I am a cleaner, not a dermatologist, and I am not going to pretend the box is equally suited to every job on the internet. So let us count what one $2 box has just replaced: the cream cleanser, the powdered cleanser, the oven spray, the grout cleaner, the fridge deodorizer, the drain freshener, the carpet powder, the laundry booster, the silver polish, and the shoe spray. That is easily $50 or $60 of shelf space bought at different times through the years, so you never notice the total. And ask the question I always ask, which is, who profits from you not knowing? Nobody owns baking soda. Nobody can advertise it, nobody can put a celebrity in front of it, and nobody can sell you a subscription to it. But take the same mineral, grind it finer, dye it, perfume it, thicken it into a cream, put a picture of a gleaming stove on the front, and now you have a product with a margin worth defending. That is the whole trick of that aisle. Every housekeeping department in the world runs on a handful of cheap, simple substances bought in bulk, and the retail cleaning aisle is those same few substances divided into 20 bottles and sold back to you one surface at a time. So here is your week. Buy the big box, not the small one, because it costs almost the same and you will get through it. Put a jar of it in the fridge today, that takes 2 minutes. Then do the sink tonight with the dry sprinkle and the dry buff at the end, because that one takes 90 seconds and it will convince you. Then mix up the dish soap and baking soda paste at the weekend and take it to your bathroom. 3 jobs, 1 box, and by the end of the week, you will have proved every claim in this video in your own house rather than taking my word for it. My grandmother, who taught me long before any hotel did, kept about 6 things in her cleaning cupboard her whole life, and this box was one of them, and her home was cleaner than the homes of people who own 40 products. Do it once, do it properly, then it stays done. Now tell me in the comments, because I read every one. What do you use baking soda for that I have not covered here, because there are dozens of uses and this comment section is going to be a better reference than my video is. And be honest with me about the vinegar thing. Had you been mixing them together in a bowl? Because I suspect a very large number of you have, and I would rather we all stop today. Next time, I am going after the other cheap bottle in your first aid drawer, plain rubbing alcohol, and I am going to show you why it beats the blue glass spray, why it is the only thing I will let near a phone or a television screen, and the one common household surface it will ruin permanently in seconds, which is a surface in every single room of your home. Subscribe so that one finds you. I am Ken Sato. Do it once, do it properly, then it stays done. I will see you in the next one.